Hey guys, Tyler 2K here. Now with the Heihachi trailer on the horizon, coming out on September 24th, and then also the Tekken Talk coming out shortly after that, I figured, okay, it's time to make this video. So I don't really play Mishimas. That should be evident from the fact that I'm a 2P Mishima. I can play them all, but of the Mishima characters, Heihachi is actually the one I play the most and have the most knowledge of. So to see he's coming back is kind of a good thing, bad thing. Good thing because I play him. Bad thing, the fact that I don't think we need more Mishimas. But okay, we're beyond that point now, obviously, and clearly we're gonna get more Heihachi. So yeah, this is a video I've been tinkering with in my mind for a long time now. And finally, it's like, now that I have a deadline coming up, it's like, okay, I understand. I probably should make this video. So what this video is, this is going to be a speculatory video about what they're going to do with Heihachi in Tekken 8. There's a very good chance that I'm going to be wrong because the initial preview trailer that you guys have seen with like the Tekken monks or whatever they're called, they didn't really show off anything. They're like, oh, they'll show off a Thunder God Fist and they'll show off like a 4-3-4 and stuff like that. And it's like, okay. But other than that, there's not really like any information. We even went through a slow motion version of it too, and yeah, it's like I didn't really see any information in the background there. So yeah, I figured, like I said, yeah, might as well do this video before it comes out, before the old boy comes out. And then what we're going to do, we're going to compare his move list in T7 to some T8 iterations of the moves. Now granted, of course, ever since like I think Tekken 6 was probably the start of like the really big homogenization of this game. A lot of moves kind of bleed over, but with that being said, there are quite a few moves that characters do have in T8 that are very similar to Heihachi. So I figure let's go ahead and talk about those moves, speculate on what's going to happen in the future. For the most part, this is completely off the dome, so don't... First of all, I already said I'm going to be probably not correct. Well, as we're going to do it, we're going to be like, oh yeah, someone has that. I have a general idea of where I want to go with this video, but like I said, this never really got out of the planning state, and now with the deadline, it's like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so the Rage Art, obviously he's going to have a new one. This Rage Art is pretty bad, all things considered, because all he's doing is a Twin Piston, which doesn't exist in this game. That's a T5 move that they got rid of in T6, so they're clearly going to change it. Now, are we going to see, like, the monks come out? You know, in the video, in the teaser video, I think it was Lydia, and then we saw her get surrounded by a bunch of, like, ninja clone, shadow clone jutsu kind of shit. And I'm like, you know, is that going to be his Rage Art? Or is, like, a clue to his Rage Art or his mechanic going forward? So on and so forth. So I think that's what's going to happen. Okay, so the big question on everyone's mind is Rage Drive #1, if you want to call it that. So basically, this move is absurd. This is a 10-frame... let's go ahead and put on Rage Mode. It's a 10-frame hit confirmable launcher, which is really crazy. So, yeah, how do you do it in this game? I don't even remember. Other settings, there we go, player rage. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, so it's NCC, so hit confirm. The full thing links, and then from there you do like some, this is like easy peasy combo. But there's like, for instance, Hell Sweep, neutral 4 line, stuff like that. Personally, I'm a fan of just the insta-wall stand 4 structure. The scary part with this, though, is you can't do the normal, like this timing, insta-wall stand 4 timing, because of the pushback. If you go for it, it like basically misses because there's significant pushback on it. So, first of all, I don't think this is going to be in Tekken 7, so like that doesn't work. So you have to do a sliding wall stand performed off of crouch dash. So crouch dash, you guys probably don't even know I'm a Mishima player. Like sliding wall stand. Otherwise, yeah, you do like a neutral 4-4, but the timing is kind of tricky. We'll talk about this later. But like post Hell Sweep, same thing. Like I'm not gonna be able to do that because I'm not actually a Heihachi player. But the timing is semi-tricky to do the neutral 4 variation. Like, so we'll get to it later. But the reason being, I don't see them bringing this move back. I think if they were to bring back Rage Drive 1, it would be a huge mistake. Weirder things, I guess, have happened when you have a character like Harong, who has not only just a really good heat smash that's a launcher, that, you know, plus frame stance, entrance, to overhead that's a counter launcher, stuff like that, but then also he has a Hell Sweep game and he has extra tools that other characters don't have. I guess he would be the counterexample to like maybe Heihachi's gonna have Rage Drive 1, but yeah, hopefully he doesn't. The other reason being that for people who are unaware, so typically like Heihachi has this whole kit that other characters have, right? So he has the Wind God Fist, he has Tsunami Kick, he has 112, which we'll talk about later, which is really, really strong. But in Tekken 7, what they did with this character is they actually made him really, really frame trap heavy. So options like forward 3, 1 back 2, all these things are -2. And if you guys know my video number 3, I talk about how -2 is like the frame trappiest thing ever. But in this game, in Tekken 7, because it's a little bit different in T8, but in Tekken 7, all Tsunami Kicks on hit are like -4. Okay, -4. So Heihachi here is recovering 4 frames quicker than Kazuya is recovering. Now, if we do the inverse, though, with Heihachi, Tsunami Kick is +0, and if you notice from the state that Kazuya is left in, he's basically left in full crouch. So the quickest attack that he has, apart from Duck Jab, of course, is wall stand 4 on 11. So, and instead of us being -4 in full standing versus crouch, we're actually +0. And what that perfectly sets up, and let me go ahead and just turn on counter hit period. What that perfectly sets up is for us to go for a frame trap option, like 1 back 2, which is really, really, really super strong. I would say near oppressive, but the fact that, it's one of these things you kind of learn to not try to take your turn back often. But yeah, basic idea is like, okay, Tsunami Kick punish, and then we go for a hit confirm 1 back 2 if they mash anything. So there is no defensive training in this game, but what I can do, I can go ahead, we'll do repeat action, probably something like generic down 4 into wall stand 4-4. So let me just keep hitting 4. Okay, so now we should get the proper thing. And actually I can even take off counter hit to prove the point, of course. Because of course he's going to be mashing into us. There we go. And now we get our full launcher. Good night. So basically, without me even doing like a really good combo, from one mistake, right? We've done like 70% of his health from one mistake on a hit confirm. Because keep in mind, again, 1 back 2. But at the same time, if you remember what I had said earlier with 1 back 2, 1 back 2 is -2 on hit. So from -2, we can go for our Power Crush. We can go for a Rage Art Trap if we think they're going to mash out. Or we just do it again. we constantly put our opponent into a blender as we go for this counter hit confirm 1 back 2 idea. So like I said, almost certainly this isn't going to make it into the game because it's so absurd. And then like wall stand 2, kind of churn steal, full crouch option 4. Full crouch 4, which is now going to be insane with the new full crouch buffering system. Now we can perform it out of FC without having to delay the timing. Like, right? What the fuck? And actually that kind of leads to something which I'll talk about later too, and hopefully I remember it by talking about it here. But yeah, almost certainly 1 back 2 is not 1 back 2, 1+2, the headbutt option. And something of note, which for people who might not have played Tekken 7, you see this, oh, it's a headbutt, right? I can just duck it, right? Because normally 1+2 is a head, it's a high, so you can duck it, of course. But the problem is, despite the fact, and let's go ahead and put it into a crouch, so we can duck, right? The problem is 1 back 2, 1+2 jails. And sorry, it doesn't jail in a good way. So it leaves like Kazuya to get hit here, but if we go further, back 1 back 2, the second hit into 1+2 into the overhead, or not overhead technically, into the headbutt is a jailing string. So we're +9 in leaving the opponent in C, and then it's like I said, between that and 4-3 trapping, perfectly sets up like a lot of trap ideas again. It's perfect. So assuming this even makes it like the -2s make it into T8, like Heihachi's gonna be crazy good, which is no surprise, right? So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Rage Drive 1. Hopefully that explains it. So Rage Drive 2 is basically Rage Drive 1 without the leading punch edge on it, if that makes any sense. So we're basically doing the same attack again. Whoops. This is a completely jailing string. So it's just basically a variation of 1 back 2, except without the counter confirm on it. Instead, we get the headbutt follow-up. So It could be that he has that. I could see that being a thing. Again, I don't think that Rage Drive 1 is making through it, because if so, that's going to be absurdly strong. Okay, 112, everyone's favorite 10-frame Punisher. And unfortunately, we're on a wall list stage, infinite stage. But for people who don't know, the 112 in this game, Heihachi's the only character with a wall splatting 10-frame. And actually, let's go ahead and move to a non-infinite stage in the meantime. Okay, so 112, everyone's favorite wall splat option. Of course, in this game, we don't have post spin at the wall. So typically, you go for like forward, down, forward. Which would then, of course, the bot's going to guess this correctly every time. Or reset option, so if the opponent ducks, you have forward. Very similar to Reina's, because Reina's is the Heihachi's. So really, really strong. The one thing also, of course, is not only is 112 hit confirmable, but just like the other Mishimas, 112 also is -1 on block. So for -1, same thing. We can set up our punch parry, which we'll talk about later. Power crush. We can go for 4/2 high crush. And now in Tekken 8, you'll be able to do instant full crouch down for 4 buffering. So really, really impressive, right? And like I said, he's the only Mishima in Tekken 7 who has the ability to do the proper 112 hit confirm wall splat. And now, of course, with Tekken 8, now you'll get like a spin option. So like maybe 112, 4/2, which I'll talk about later. So it would be like, again, 112, 4/2, and then post spin, you'll Hell Sweep 4, neutral 4 into 1+2. That's typically his best combo line. He does have easy peasy combos, of course, post wall splat. Like 1 back 2, 2. Whoa, shit, not that one. Sorry. Let me turn off let me turn off Rage. Into Oki line, TGF Ender, which will give you ground steel pedal effect in T8. Almost certainly that's still going to make it. He also does have, I guess we could wait to talk about it later, but yeah, point being like 112, super, super strong. The question, of course, is will his 112 wall splat is the big, big question. So we'll talk, actually, I don't have to talk about it now because we're going through the whole move list. But yeah, the question, will he have it? If I was to take a guess, he probably is going to have it. But we'll talk about why, if he doesn't have it, it's not that big a deal later. Okay, so he does have Mishima style generic 122, of course, +4 on hit, -12 on block. He probably also, okay, we're not to it yet. So certainly too, he's also going to have the cancel. I wouldn't doubt it if the spin canceling on the 1+2s are going to be a key part of this game, because in T7 they gave him more of them effectively. 124 is almost certainly still going to be there too. I don't believe 124 is a counter launcher. I'll test. Whoops, damn, look at that range, man. That's so absurd. That's crazy range. Holy crap. Oh, so he does have the counter still in this game. My bad. I can see them getting rid of that. I don't think that's going to still be a thing. I'm sure. Right. Probably not. I don't think he's going to have it. I don't think he's going to be like Nina. Who knows? Okay, so this is the spin option at the wall. Like I said, almost certainly he's going to have this. This looks very similar to in T8, or analog rather, would be like Kuma back to 2-1. Because yeah, Kuma already has this move, or Bear still has this move in Tekken 8. So almost certainly, Heihachi's going to have it. The one benefit versus of his, 1 back 2 option versus Kuma's is sometimes at the wall, Kuma's doesn't actually properly hit. Okay, he also has a mid-kick variation on it. The TGF, as far as I know, let's go ahead and test this. Okay, yeah, TGF is -15. And then he'll have the mid-kick, which is plus frames, but the timing on the mid-kick, yeah, this 35 framer, leaves a decent window for you to escape and for you to kind of challenge and sidestep, stuff like that. But yeah, almost certainly he's going to have both of them still. So at the wall, maybe this will be your strong break option post like high splat or something like that. Okay, 2-2. 2-2 kind of has gone through like a lot of weird iterations in Tekken 8. For instance, Kazuya's 2-2 is no longer punishable on block. I can't see 2-2 not being still in the game. And also I still can't see it not being still punishable on block. It's possible that they change it, but I highly, highly, highly doubt it. The reason being is right here, he can cancel the option 2-2 into 1+2. Also something of note, you can cancel 2-2. Maybe they talk about it right away. I know they don't. Oh, so all these options where you're going for the 1+2 option can be canceled to both directions. So kind of similar to Brian, who can cancel his like CD lines, stuff like that. So almost certainly he's still going to have this. One other thing of note with the 2-2 cancel is that it's actually safe on block. So despite the fact that 1+2 by itself is -12, oh, -10, my bad. Yeah, he has the cancel version, which is safe. Now, granted, it's not as quick, right? But still, it's something you have to worry about if you're like brand new to try to fight against a character like Heihachi. Okay, 3-4 probably is still going to make it in. This is actually a long range 14. So if you don't have the execution to like do the I-14 electric at like kind of like mid range, like one range is 1.5 range, or I guess one range is more accurate. You have 3-4 on the table. Also, does 3-4 have a counter hit on it? Yeah, it does. Oh, it causes crumple stun. That's a relic of an old game. To be honest, I wouldn't doubt it if he still has 3-4, this counter hit launcher on the second hit. But yeah, it's basically his long range Punisher, so he's going to always have it. For 13, TP by itself also has pretty good range. Actually, in Tekken 7, Season 4, they buffed the TP range. So back in the day, like TP would miss here, but nowadays it's always going to hit. So same thing. We'll talk about it later, I suppose. But yeah, your 14 is a stand 3 if you don't have the execution. As a beginner, you might have a dead zone or might not understand the application of certain attacks to keep pressure going and punishment, stuff like that. So Demon Scissors, almost certainly still going to have Demon Scissors. Demon Scissors also has an Easter egg. If you hit down, because he's an old man, he actually damages himself. Although in Tekken Season 4 or Season 5, they made it such that this can't deal lethal damage, so it can't kill you anymore. Just a little tidbit, I guess. Okay, 1+2. So I think 1+2 actually is going to be a heat engager. I wouldn't doubt it if they got rid of this being, I mean, it's probably still going to be only -10, come to think about it loud, but yeah, if you look at a character like Kuma's 1+2 is a heat engager. Also, one thing of note between the two of them, Kuma 1+2 is I-13, and also I think it is -12 though, although that might be like a joke character penalty. 1+2 probably, even if it's a heat engager, will still maintain its wall splat properties to it almost certainly. So that's something of note. Now, with that being said, I don't think 1+2 heat engager or heat dash cancel will guarantee anything. You know, you probably just get 4 for 2 against grounded, but yeah, it's not going to be a launcher almost certainly. That's not going to be the case. Okay, so 4-2-3 is interesting. So 4-2-3 and all the 4-3 variations all have counter hit launch on the second hit. I could see them getting rid of this one versus like 3-4, which is a more like specialty, like this is a legacy attack. So I can see them maintaining it. The reason why I think they'll get rid of it is almost certainly 4-2-3 will be in the next game. The reason being like post-launcher, 4-2-3 is like typically your go-to filler because the damage on it. Also, for same thing what I talked about earlier, for people who don't know like his punishment break points, 4-2 actually is on 15. So if you need a decently long range 15 that also is NC and wall splats, 4-2-3 is on the table. And as mentioned, 4-2-3 and all sort of 4-3 variations are all -2. So almost certainly still going to have this. And like I said, I can see them getting rid of the counter hit on it, but that's up in the air. But yeah, 4-2-3, both filler and your long range 15 if you don't have execution or want your execution to be easier. Also, of course, is a double unskilled hit, both 100 damage leading to full splat, so it does have value. And of course, the big value is that it's completely safe on block. Okay, so 4-2 slide 1+2 is basically the cancel off of standing. Instead of you going from a string into cancel, you have this variation too. I don't know how I'm going to show this, but yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's going to be safe on block, and also can be sidestep canceled, of course. So if you want to get pressure going, you're by a wall, and oh hey, You notice a whiff, option, post cancel, then you just TP them into the wall and you're good to go. Forward 3. Yeah, I think this is going the way it's going to be there. Almost certainly the counter launching properties on it are going to be gone, because a lot of things in like T8 were made safer, right? So they got rid of a lot of the magic 4s and whatnot, and they got rid of a lot of safe counter hit tools. So I think forward 3 is going to lose its counter hit. I don't think this is going to be a heat engager. With that being said, I still see it maintaining its -2 on block and then natural hit wall splat and stuff like that. To be honest, I wouldn't doubt it if forward 3 does have a counter hit property on it. It just isn't going to cause a double overstun anymore. Almost certainly it's just going to be maybe some sort of flop. But of course, post double over, you have all the things in the world you can go for. Neutral 4 options. My favorite, just instant wall stand 4 variation for consistency. Can we get like TP? Yeah, we can still also TP pickup or solo down for 1 pickup. Okay, 4-4 of course is going to have this Reina stole this move, and similar to Reina, on hit, this is going to almost certainly be plus 13. So against a crouching opponent, we get twin piston guaranteed. Reina gets the same thing. Against a standing opponent though, forward 4 does not have that property. On counter hit, which almost certainly will have in T8, it causes full knockdown. So from full knockdown, you either can do 4 for 2 for steel pedal, or an easier option like down 3, which will never drop out. You can also go for like spicier things, but it's going to be between one of those two. And again, I'll talk about 4 for 2 later, which I think they're going to do to it. Okay, so on the topic of weird punishment, basically this is his go-to 12. I think it has okay range. Okay, so normally this would be like, oh yeah, that's decently good range for a 12. The issue being that in Tekken 7 Season 4, they buffed the range on jab. So, like, jab hits really, really far away, and when you consider it's a hit confirmable wall splat, it's really, really strong. But on Forward +2, post knockdown, same thing. You can go for steel pedal or go for death palm, which is like the preferred option. But yeah, so he has a 12 frame option. So for the most part, 10, 12, 13, and then 14 for your long range, or electric on 14 if you have execution, of course. He might also have one more. No, okay, maybe I'm thinking of an old game. Okay, so Raijin Stance is interesting. So you might look at this and see think to yourself, oh, this looks very much like Reina, Heaven's Wrath, and it is basically. This is Reina's Heaven's Wrath stance. Of course, Reina, the daughter of Heihachi, trained under Heihachi. Clearly, we found out. This is it. So, almost certainly he's going to get some changes. For people who don't know, because Reina's stance, what happens is when she parries, when she's under heat mode and she's stuck in stance, she reverses basically everything except for like hop kicks. But Heihachi's a little bit different. So Heihachi's, instead of it being a parry all, it's actually just a punch parry stance. And of course my time is gonna be fucked up now. Yeah, so he will parry you out of the way, and you see there he's plus 25. So what's interesting in Tekken, like the later season of Tekken 7, like Season 4 and beyond, I believe, they made it such that you can actually cancel Raijin Stance. So by canceling it, you just tap. Okay, yeah, so you cancel with, I guess, sidestep. For some reason in my head I was thinking it's a crouch, but no, you sidestep cancel. So by tapping down, you can cancel out stance. Otherwise, the frame is open for a while. Like there, I'm hitting it really late, and I'm still getting Raijin 1 out. But if I do that timing with a sidestep, now we can have access to a standing state off of it. So this is a punch parry stance. So if Kazuya goes for kicks here, he will beat our Raijin stance. But otherwise, yeah, Raijin stance is a punch parry state. And then, as you might have deduced, from the punch parry, we have access to Raijin 1, which is a launcher. So basically, we confirm the punch parry, and then we launch him. Also, one thing of note is that the stance itself is a stance, so it doesn't actually get counter hit. So someone had talked about or asked about reversals. So yeah, this is essentially a reversal stance. With that being said, because you can't counter hit, and then the changes of Tekken 8 with the parry stances, almost certainly Raijin Stance can be thrown guaranteed now. So if you read Raijin Transition, because he's doing a punch parry, he's going to have a penalty mid-punch parry, and you can just throw him. So kind of similar to a great obvious example would be Lydia Heaven Earth Stance. Whenever she transitions, she can be thrown out of it, and she can't do anything about it. Leroy, same thing. If he parries or is stuck in the Hermit Stance, same thing. You can throw him as a Punisher. So almost certainly that's going to be the same case. With that being said, I believe Raijin Stance, similar to Reina, will be charged up under the effects of Heat Mode. So under Heat Mode, he might gain access to the Reina parry. Reina parry is basically this move here. The difference is Heihachi can perform it as standing. And of course, because he's key charging, if you get hit, you can't block after. So here I'm trying to block. I get hit in the face, right? Wouldn't doubt it if they gave this same thing to Raijin Stance off of Heat Mode. So we kick him to the floor. We take the damage, but maybe in T8, considering like Reina takes no damage, maybe that will be the case where his auto reversal will work pretty much on everything. And then, yeah, he's going to parry you if you try doing anything. So then that becomes like a weird meta, because keep in mind, this is not out of like wall stand 4-4 into Raijin, right? Kind of similar to what Reina can do. But now it's a standing Punisher instead. So yeah, maybe he can perform it, same thing. He can perform raw Raijin with Heat Mode, have parry built into it, and force 50-50 from there. So the good news on defense, and we'll get to the next moves here. We'll talk about 2-1 first. So Raijin 2-1 is basically Twin Piston. The problem here with the Raijin 2-1 is that even though it's NC, Raijin 2-1 by itself is also launch punishable. So same thing. Okay, we have a supercharged stance. So we have one of two things we can go for. We can either go for Raijin 1, which is the punch parry, homing attack. But then, yeah, again, the 50-50 between Raijin 1 and Raijin 2-1 is there. And then also the fact that he can cancel. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. So yeah, okay, it's like, okay, you playing chicken with him in Heat Mode during his Raijin entrance. Be careful, though, of those two things. So he also has Raijin 1+2. Very slow, you know, unblockable launcher. The nice thing, like I just said, it is a launcher. So regardless, we get easy pickup, you know, TP, neutral 4 lines, instant wall stand 4 line, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's so slow, like, and it's a high, so you just duck under it, right? There is no mistaking, like, Raijin 1, Raijin 2, or Raijin 1+2. Now, the benefit of Raijin 1+2 is the range. So there are tech trap ideas, and I don't remember the tech traps, but, like, you can put them into a state where they're more likely to go for a back roll, and then you have the advancing range on it. Like, look at that range, right? Yeah, to be honest, like, all his unblockables actually have pretty good range, including that one. Technically, he also has the ground pound. We'll talk about that later. Which I guess is a full screen unblockable because he causes ground pound. But that's kind of cheating, so. But yeah, you're never going to mix up Raijin 1+2. So I assume he's still going to have this. There's no reason to believe he won't, in my opinion. Okay, so from a standing, we have down forward 1-1. Which on block, I believe -1. God, man, this character's so good. So -1, of course, 1-1 options. Raijin parry if we think they're going to check back. We have up 4-3-4 crush options. Neutral hop kick, which I guess is going to be gone in Tekken 8. But yeah, down back 2 turn steal. We're going to have back 3+4 spin away. We have access to sidestep 2-1, which is a launcher, which granted it's probably going to go away, but I don't know for a fact. But yeah, -1, like, we can do a lot of shit. Like, again, this the fear of the 1-1 coming out, hit confirm. Oh, you want to challenge me at -1? Okay. Hold this 1-1-2 right to the face of the wall. And to complement 1-1, downward 1-1, he also, of course, has the Big Daddy Twin Piston. So almost certainly this is going to be the same thing. Now, considering Reina's Twin Piston is a heat engager in Tekken 8, I would imagine that his Heihachi's TP, down forward 1-2 Twin Piston, is also going to be a heat engager as well. So similar to Reina's Twin Piston, almost certainly you're not going to get a launcher. Same thing, 4 for 2, maybe some sort of hell sweep, cheeky line, down 3. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to go for a ground reset. I don't know. But yeah, it's almost certainly it's going to be heat engager. The one thing of note is while Reina's puts you -14 into a standing state, Heihachi's Twin Piston is -13 in a crouching. So against certain characters, it's going to be really bad. E.g. Kazuya, which of course, the patricide killer himself. But yeah, that's something of note. Down forward 1+2. Every down forward 1+2 in the game, of course, is gone. This is a weird move. For people who don't know, down forward 1+2. So if you notice, he does an arm to the back and an arm to the front. The reason being, this actually would basically, it wouldn't full track, but it would hit 180. It would hit every single direction except for your side. Now, in prior Tekken games, this was actually what was called essentially a throw reversal. So during these frames, if your opponent tried to grab you, he would actually push you out of the way and then do the double, fist other direction. He would go skiing. So you could, if you read or throw, you could go for that and beat a throw, naturally option select it, and then get a wall splat, like at the wall, for instance. Through a parry. Oh, you think you're going to throw me, King? LOL. Sorry, sweaty. sorry, shit. So, boom. Splat option. And then, Bob's your uncle. Now, the problem, though, in case you understand, like Tekken, this is a power crush. So, power crushes, by definition, are susceptible to lows and throws and unblockables. So, he lost his throw parry by making it into a power crush. So, again, down forward 1+2s are all gone. Certain characters got their down forward 1+2s at different inputs now. But yeah, this is all gone almost certainly. And furthermore, almost certainly, if they bring it back, it will not be a power crush, and they'll revert its whole throw parry properties. A good analog is Kazuya here on the screen. Kazuya had forward 2, which was a punch sabaki, but same thing. This now parries everything because it's a power crush. So what they did instead is in Tekken 8, they changed forward 1+2 into his punch sabaki, despite this being his old punch sabaki. So they left this the power crush and changed this to the punch sabaki. So I think something similar is going to happen with Heihachi. I think they're going to bring this back, but the input's going to be different. Of course, it can't be up 1+2 because that's now the throws, so that's not going to be a thing. Back 1+2 will probably still be around. And then, of course, down forward 1+2 is the Rage Art. So down forward 1+2 in Tekken 8 will almost certainly be Twin Piston input. So it'll option select the down forward 1 because there's no input on down forward 1-2. But yeah, I'm sure they'll bring it back and he'll have a different power crush. What the power crush will be, I have no idea. But almost certainly they will bring this back, but they'll bring back its old properties, which will be a great thing. Down 1, super good. Super long range. If you notice, he gets like really low to the, well, I guess it doesn't look like it's that low. This hits like, there you go. It hits very low to the ground. Like, see how low his fist is hitting? Like, this consistently beats stance characters. Oh, you think you're going to a stance? No, sorry. Here's down 1. Down 1-2, kind of similar to Paul. Okay, I guess he did lose his Death Fist. He used to have a Death Fist variation, very like identical to Paul's, but that's gone. Instead, now it causes this ass stun flop. Now, the nice thing is down 1-2 is actually safe on block. So assuming that they leave this like palm finisher, and they don't bring back the Death Fist, which would be like that, which also, like Death Fist, is launch punish 1 block, it's almost certainly going to be safe. But yeah, down 1 is like your go-to answer if you think someone's going to go with the stance and you don't know what to do. Twin Piston is okay, but it kind of does have a higher hitbox, despite its range. So, down 1 is your go-to answer. Okay, down 3 is basically a stand stomp. It is a natural hit knockdown, and I think on counter hit, I don't think it does anything special. Yeah, it's always the same thing, but it's completely safe on block. So, whereas down 4 is your typical stomp, -14, okay. Yeah, down 3 would be like, okay, I think they're going to... Let me just show you. Forward 4, down 3. Okay, we're safe on block. It's not a return anymore at -7, but we're safe on block. So it's nice to have it. Also, it has pretty good range. It should hit from about here. Yeah, so it's decent. Of course, I don't think it has any tracking, but if you need a safe mid option, that's there. Okay, Lightning Hammer, down +4, unblockable. It also hits very low to the ground. I wouldn't doubt it if, like, day 1 or week 1 of Heihachi game, we see some sort of, like, at the wall, like, high splat option, and then finish up with the unblockable, kind of similar to Harong, something like that. I wouldn't doubt if we see something like it, but of course, can't only speculate. Okay, down 2+3 is the ground stomp. It's unblockable, but it should be noted that this +32 actually isn't proper. It's a G state. Okay, sorry, he's getting hit because yeah. So we're 32, but he can still guard, so it's a +32 G. Now, the real benefit of this move is that it's actually an OTG. So OTG means off the ground. But yeah, we can like pick him up and do a OTG combo, stuff like that. I would imagine he's still going to have it. So if you might think to yourself, okay, well, what do I do against this move, right? If you can't block it, I mean, you can block it, but it's like, oh, you're always negative. Two things: 62. So first of all, it's, you know, what do you call it? It is slow, so you can see it and challenge it. The second thing, and I don't know how I'm going to show this, but basically, it's a low, so you can just jump over it. Oh, you see Heihachi going for this? Dash up, jump, and then launch him. Or dash up, jump, you know, wall stand launcher, stuff like that. So it's like, oh, he's going for this? That's cute. You just jump over, launch him for being an idiot. Down back 2, almost certainly still going to have this. This is his, what do you call it? Yeah, Hashi, or whatever people call it. Basically, Reina also has down back 2. Hers is a little bit less notable, but his is like the big daddy one. You have the sound cue, you see the animation, very much understood that he's going for it. 23, it technically is seeable. Most people say they see it, air quotes, by the sound cue itself. But yeah, it is seeable, but online play, it always makes it trickier. The thing of note here, he's +6 versus, I think, +2 with Reina. But he's left in FC, so from there, wall stand 2 if you want to maintain pressure. Wall stand 4, you know, you wouldn't want to go for raw tsunami kick, because at least tsunami kick still is -15 on block. But yeah, the most common one would be like down 4/4 all in. So they guess wrong, and then you get follow up and stuff like that. Damek 1+2, Reina has something similar with down 1+4. This is an advancing version of it. So rather than Heihachi just ducking like Reina, he does a follow-up attack. So I can see them still having this too. Same thing in T8. So that's the palm again. -10 on block or -13? Okay. Back 1-2. Homing option. I wouldn't doubt if they get rid of this though. So the issue with back 1-2 versus like a Paul back 1-2, which is like the same move, I-15 is the problem. The range also isn't super good. And I don't think you can hit confirm it either. Oh, maybe you could. Maybe I'm wrong. Damn, okay, maybe you actually can hit confirm that. But with that being said, the one thing I can see them doing, if back 1-2 still makes it, is to change the second hit of back 1-2 being into an actual heat engager. So let's say on 15, Heihachi, back 1-2, same thing, will still be NC, and as we found, is hit confirmable. Let's try it one more time. So I'm gonna. Okay, well, you can't max delay it, but it definitely is still confirmable. So I can see back 1-2 being NC, heat engager, high, and then also back 1-2, final hit being a launcher. So that way, okay, instead of you doing your 4-2-3 for long range 15, okay, maybe you have back 1-2 for easy, wall splat, NC option, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. So, and then in that case, back 1-2 would also be heat dash cancelable for a launcher. I can definitely see that being the case. I can see that being the case because the very next move that we have for him is back 1-2 slide 1+2, which is the cancel. So kind of similar to the other ones that would allow us to sidestep cancel as well, either side. and then also have a natural mix up the back one too, making back one two more valuable of a tool, period. So that would be like, for instance, let's say Heihachi's go-to attack at 15 then, right? Oh, you think I have meter? I want to pop my meter? You know, hold that shit, gotta guess this nonstop. I can definitely see that being the case. Okay, so this is the biggest first change I'm going to talk about. So Rashomon, back to everyone's favorite. In Tekken 7 Season 3, question mark, they changed it to a wall bounce. And wall bounces were, of course, the plague of this fucking game. Also, similar to one back two by itself is, of course, -2. Now, in previous games, Rashomon on counter hit, similar to forward 3, would cause a double overstate. But because of the new wall bounce mechanic, rather than being the typical double overstate, has now changed to a wall bounce. So I don't think they're going to bring back Rashomon being a counter hit launcher. Like, I think having a natural hit, 22 isn't that bad. Instead, what I think they're going to do is what they did with Lydia's back one. I think Rashomon is going to be just like Lydia back one. So rather than doing back one, you know, with Lydia, he's going to do a advancing heat engager option. I don't think they're going to make it +2 because that might be a little bit too crazy, but they're still probably going to bring this back because of just the fact that, yeah, if you have access to a -2 on block heat engager, that can be heat dash cancel for launcher, causing wall splat, blah, 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 blah. Right? I think that's realistically what they're going to do. Of course, once again, all the wall bounces are gone. Certain characters got better replacements for their wall bounces than others on typical tools, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think this is going to be a heat engager, and that's going to help out Heihachi a lot. With that being said, one back two, keep in mind one back two, despite them looking identical and operating similarly, they are not the same move. So, like, for instance, one back two almost certainly is not going to be a heat engager, but back two by itself will be a heat engager for that reason alone. Okay, back 3-4. I don't remember if they added this in Season 4 or what, but basically back 3-4 was Namco's way of being like, hey, you know, hey, we notice Heihachi's kind of hard to use, so, like, please use Heihachi. So then they gave him back 3-2 into 1+2, so same thing. Okay, well, maybe you don't have the execution for Hell Sweep line. Maybe you can't do that. Okay, well, you know what we'll do? We'll give you back 3-2 into 1+2. You're welcome. Like, okay. It also, for filler, it's not that bad either. Back 3-2. Let's see, maybe double electric. That thing. Back 3-2 filler. Okay, yeah, the kind of a lot of push weight, but again, I think this is Namco apologizing for, like, making the characters as hard, and rather than just completely nerfing them, they changed it. So yeah, that's the other big thing. So back 3-2 by itself is a counter launcher. He also has back 3-3, I believe it is, which causes knockdown. I don't think it requires counter hit, come to think it. Let's go ahead and just test that. Yeah, it just... Oh, wait, why am I on CH? Wait, that's weird. Okay, on counter hit, second hit, I don't think it does anything either. So it's just a knockdown, yeah. That way, you can duck the back 3-2 by itself. Same thing, they're probably going to have back 3-2. Because again, you need a character to be beginner friendly. So I can't see them reverting this nerf or changing this move again. But I don't think back 3-2 is going to be a counter launcher. Same thing. If I was to take a guess, I don't think it's going to cause like an ass stun state, kind of similar to like a wall stand one. I think it's going to be like a knockdown instead, probably. With that being said, because it's NC, I don't think it's going to be a natural hit knockdown. I think it's going to be a counter hit knockdown only. If they go too hard in the paint with a buff to back 3-2, that might be detrimental. But let's see. What's back 3-3 on block? -12S? Jesus. Who cares? Okay, yeah, of course, back 4. There is no fucking way back 4 is making it way into Tekken 8 in its current form. So, back 4, safe on block. It's a homing move, natural hit wall splat, or sorry, natural hit knockdown, and by the wall, of course, it also causes wall splat, which, of course, in a T8 world, is going to be really, really strong to have a tool like that. right? Where then again, you're going to have a spin option and then you get full combo, blah, blah, blah. Also, it has really good range. Like that doesn't feel like super good range, but like actually that range is pretty good, especially, okay, like about here-ish. Okay, just a little bit short. But especially when it complements with 442 and like these advancing attacks, down one, hell sweep with the mix-up afterwards on approach, stuff like that. It's nice to have back four. Of course, the big one, which I'm trying to get to, on counter hit in Tekken 7, back four is a counter launcher. So, of course, if it's still a counter launcher, it would be a tornado spin, hopefully. But yeah, there's no shot back four is going to be a counter launcher. I'm sure it's still going to do something. Someone at Namco probably is going to defend the old man to the end. But yeah, there's no shot this is going to be a counter launcher. Back 1+2, 1+2 is an interesting tool. It kind of acts similar to Leo down back 1+2 and Shaheen down back 2-1. This probably is going to be a heat engager, seeing as how like Shaheen down back 2-1 is. Although I don't believe Leo down back 1+2, 1+2 is. But I think you can hit confirm this. Okay, you can. Okay, no, yeah, that's you can with air quotes. I don't think this is confirmable, or if it is, yeah, you have to be fucking A fast. Maybe situation confirm only, because like normal hit confirm timing would allow us to confirm on this frame. Oh, we can. It's close, man. It's close. That's very close. I think more situation confirm than anything. The benefit, of course, is the safety. Also on counter hit, I don't believe this does anything. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, good. But yeah, first hit, -9. I wouldn't doubt it if similar to Shaheen, similar to Leo, if back 1+2 can now maybe transition into Raijin. I can see that happening. So maybe that would be part of the mix-up. Back 1+2, Raijin entrance, you know, and then to mix-up option. And I'm sure the cancel would be plus frames or some shit like that. Okay, Hell Axel almost certainly is going to make its way into Tekken 8. This is a launcher in T7, although I would imagine this wouldn't launch in T8. They could possibly make it a heat engager. I could see that being a thing. And then maybe have the heat dash cancel be the launcher property on it. With that being said, yeah, I mean, if it makes its way into T8 as a launcher, almost certainly the second hit is going to be a spin. The tricky part, or a spin by a tornado spin. The tricky part, though, is on block. It's negative. Sorry, it's completely safe on block, and -3 in Tekken 8 rules perfectly sets up power crushes and reversals and traps and stuff like that. So this will be even stronger. It already was strong in Tekken 7. It's going to be even stronger in Tekken 8. And if you leave its like natural launching property, it's going to be like a big problem for sure. Up forward is a weird move. It only really works as a launcher in certain positions. Sorry, by launcher I mean on counter hit it doesn't do anything. I can see this maybe in T8 being a launcher or heat engager. But yeah, usually it's like really big launching option, like high class 1, class 2 sort of stuff, and then doing a tornado spin. That's brand new to T7. Almost certainly this is going to be also in T8. That way, if you do a 442 launcher, you don't need execution to go for like a electric line, stuff like that. If instead it's 442 into up forward 4, right, easy peasy combo line. Almost certainly that'll be the case. But yeah. Oh, I didn't know. I completely forgot we can do that. How about double electric? No, okay. You can't double electric, but that's okay. There's better lines anyway. But yeah, single electric or single and got this into up 4-4. Yeah, that's nice to have that. That's a total beginner style move. Also, it's safe on block, and if I remember correctly, it also causes natural wall splat. So this is pretty good. All things considered, for a 24 frame and to complement like an option like a 4-3-4, it is not bad. That's definitely on pace with like a Leo, Dragunov, stuff like that. So, okay, 4-4-2. One of the changes that they made in Tekken 8 was all of these like super high, okay, high risk is like a little bit disingenuous because it's -16 with like a lot of pushback. Like look at Nick, like we're not even like an electric range. Like even with the wall pushback, we can't even get him right. So one of the changes they made in Tekken 8 was all these moves that are like higher risk that hit an airborne opponent all cause spin now. So, like for instance, if you want to do same thing, okay, maybe you don't want to do up forward 4, maybe you want to do 4-4-2 option or launcher pickup 4-4-2. That will almost certainly cause a spin, which will be used in combos. But again, the real benefit is if your opponent tries to jump over your high risk mid, you still get a spin. So you still get a launcher, which is a good change. It doesn't feel good on defense when you get hit by random options like this, but for an offensive like standpoint, it is a good change. So almost certainly 4-4-2 will cause airborne spin state. Also, what I was talking about earlier, if you're in a low slump, I wouldn't doubt it. Kind of similar to one back 2-1. Same thing. Maybe there will be some sort of variation where it's like down 4-1-1 into 4-4-2 for low slump. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll also still cause a steel pedal effect against a standing opponent. Same thing. The one major thing of note here that I have to bring up because people might not notice it. So in T7, 4-4-2 is guaranteed here. If you try to get up incorrectly, you still get launched, but otherwise it does cause the steel pedal effect. But if in T8, if you make 4-4-2 into a spin launcher, like a tornado spin, optioning it's airborne, if the opponent gets up incorrectly, you'll actually get relaunched. So that might become the meta with this character. Kind of similar to how Lee can do a normal combo and then end with an up back 3. And then if you get up off the ground at the wall incorrectly, you get relaunched. Almost certainly that's still going to be the case with Heihachi. While I was doing my editing, I came to the conclusion, it's like, okay, almost certainly 4-4-3 is still going to retain its launching properties. No reason to believe they're going to change horses midstream and kind of mess things up. My original mentality was the reason 4-4-3 might not launch was because of Reina's variation, which is a heat engager and heat dash cancel launcher. But upon hindsight, looking at Kazuya's like plus 46 or plus 47 bounce version that was added to Tekken 8, like almost certainly Heihachi will still has his. So rather than being only plus 23 and requiring like a hard pickup, like the neutral 4 line, which I got there first try, which is a miracle, they're probably going to bring it or make it in line maybe with Kazuya's, but yeah, I think like 90% chance it'll retain its launcher. Maybe 10% chance it'll be more like Reina's. But yeah, no reason to think they're going to change anything. So I think that's what it's going to be. Almost certainly it will retain its launching properties. Okay, back forward 2-1. This whole sequence, story time, because you're here. In Tekken 7, one of the design philosophies were for these antiquated moves to make it such that for the player, it's easier for you to distinguish when a move is high. So if you look at a character, like Bruce was an old school character, Tekken, and was he Tekken 2 or Tekken 3? I think Tekken 3, he was added. And his animations never changed since Tekken 3. So what they did is when Josie came around, they made it such that all these high moves, that where he kicks, he spins around instead. So it's very clear, like, look, that's a high, right? Oh, I see Heihachi doing like a ballerina spin. That's a high, right? And then he have moves like that, where you can't tell it's a fucking high unless you know what you're looking for. So like, oh, okay, that was the plan, right? And if you notice, the first couple early characters were designed like that. Then Namco forgot about it. Like, they completely forgot. So I think one of these is going the way of the dinosaur. I can see back forward 2-1 disappearing. The only reason I can see it not disappearing is for like end options. If you want push away, that's how you gain access to it. Now, if we do the same combo, that gives us our spin. So I could see them getting rid of one of them. If I was to take a guess, back forward 2-1 is probably going away because, again, design philosophy reasons. Back forward 2-3 is more natural for defense, like newer players don't properly understand. But maybe Namco will surprise me, and again, they're going to leave back forward 2-1 and back forward 2-3 on the table. So, okay, well, you might think to yourself, okay, those are high mix-ups, Tyler, right? Yeah, that's correct. That's where back forward 2-2 comes to play. Back forward 2-2 on the second hit is actually a launcher. So this kind of causes that launcher type, of, like similar to like Kazuya does with 4-4-3. Actually, for here, for the frame data, it says it's plus 48. I don't know if Heihachi or Kazuya's will be that good. But yeah, that would be his mid option. To be honest, I can see them keeping back forward 2-2. I can see him being still leaving the launching property on it, despite the fact they nerfed it, because, again, it's part of the 50-50 mix-up between the 2-1, the 2-3, and then the 2-2. Okay, back 1+2. One of two things are going to happen. So either back 1+2 is going to have the Deviljin property. On block, he'll naturally cause you to be in a guard crush state. So in this game, despite the fact it looks like an unblockable, it doesn't actually cause unblockable. Instead, in post-Season 4, it causes what's called a wall crush, which there's a few of them still in T8, but they're for the most part are completely gone. But despite it's looking like unblockable, right, it isn't. So I can see them bringing this back, and then same thing like I said, being a proper guard crush state. Now, the question is, are we going to see Deviljin form, where he does the Kamehameha, where he does the charge up and then it's guaranteed? Or are we going to see like more of a Paul variation, where under the effects of heat mode, this now is a guard crush state? So are we going to have this be slower and be a guard crush, or is it going to be just as fast and under the effects of heat mode has the proper guard crush state? I don't think they'll make it like you see plus 12 there. I can see them sticking with this. So plus 12 and high recovery. Maybe they make it 13 such that down forward, 1-2 is guaranteed. A lot of speculatory stuff, but I can see, like I said, I can see them not giving it the Deviljin property, making it the Paul property, and under heat mode just make it faster and scarier to deal with. That's my guess. Back 2+4, everyone's favorite. He just runs away and like laughs at you. There's no reason to believe this isn't going to be in T8. It's a classic, right? Oh, I hit you with this, and I laugh at you. Like, straight like that, right? Yeah, almost certainly. Okay, TGF. So I'm not going to be able to perform this on this stick. I have a cross-up. I can do it every single time. So TGF is the standard Mishima Thunder Godfist. Minus 15 on block. The difference here is that Heihachi has a new move, or has a better version, which is, holy shit, it's not on here. Oh my god. Okay. Well, here, I'm going to cut to my footage of me doing Omen Godfist to show you how stupid it is. So he has a different version, but yeah, he has a Blue Spark version. So what I think is, rather than maintain the Blue Spark version of this attack, which is a launcher, my guess is they're probably going to change it to an instant tornado spin. So it's still going to natural hit launch, and again, like keep in mind, it would launch, but instead it will have a penalty on it, and that penalty is to have it be a instant tornado spin. So no longer are you able to do Omen Godfist, launcher, spin, unscaled Omen Godfist, which does like 80%. Like, there's combos that almost kill you in like one touch with this character, which is, again, why it has to get nerfed. But yeah, almost certainly that's what they're going to do with it. They have to nerf it somehow, and that's the easiest way to nerf Omen, OTGF, Omen Thunder Godfist, is by making an instant spin. Everyone's favorite, when Godfist, you can really milk the timing on it because you're stuck in crouch dash. Do it too late, you get the wrong one. And then the bigger one, of course, electric. Hits on 11, air quotes, but it's because the forward, neutral, so you can buffer the forward, the neutral cost of frame, the low cost of frame, and then the down forward cost of frame. So basically it's 11 plus 3. So the difference being a character like Kazuya can perform his on 13 because he doesn't have to perform. He can shortcut and doesn't do the down, if I remember correctly. So he executes his 11 plus 2, but every other Mishima is 11 plus 3 for their 14 frame launcher. Oh, with that being said, Reina has a perfect electric too. I don't see them giving that to Heihachi. There's no shot, right? Okay, so this is the big difference between him and his progeny, I guess would be technically the term. So he has a Hell Sweep, everyone's favorite, but if you notice here, it's actually not guaranteed. And what I'll do, I'll put guard all. So, okay, if I go low, well, he guards that too.
And then, yeah, despite the fact that I'm hitting him with something that is effectively stagger punishable on block, right? Kazi here is still able to guard it. So that the reason being that when Heihachi executes his hell sweep, it's basically a two-way mix-up right away. So he can either go double low, which is a launcher. He can go for the low into a mid tsunami kick, and best of all with the tsunami kick. The tsunami kick is only minus 14 on block, so that's a season 4 change for Heihachi. But it used to be tsunami kick otherwise minus 15. But yeah, they changed it. But yeah, typically what you want to do against Heihachi is guard the low. So from here, he has the infinite one. By infinite, sorry, it cuts out after 3 hits. But the most common one is double low, neutral 4, which will then allow us to give the low launcher. As we have seen, the initial low, of course, is stagger on block. But instead, what the follow-up low is, this is a same thing. It's a season 4 nerf, I think. But if we go low, we're now minus 10. It used to be minus 9 in older games, but that is in your crouch state. So how Kazi would punish it would be to go for the duck jab. So duck jab Punisher to punish us. But yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I have to imagine that they're going to leave all the hell sweeps still in the game. Also, if you want to go for a riskier low that isn't, low into tsunami kick at minus 14, he also could go low into TGF. I don't think they're going to buff it under the effects of heat mode. I guess I'll talk about it later. But yeah, for instance, for Kazuya, he can perform the devil form hell sweep into Thunder God Fist, into Heaven's Gate or Heaven's Wrath or whatever. But yeah, I don't think they're going to do it, but who knows. But it's like, oh, you think your opponent's going to duck, and let's say, you know, the neutral 4/4 isn't like good enough for you to go for it? It's like, okay, you're going to duck? Yeah, there you go. Launch your ass with a TGF extension off of it. Okay, Iron Hand. Yeah, is just his Death Fist. I can see them making this into a heat engager. Almost certainly it's not going to be. It's a long-range Punisher, and then on block, as we have shown, minus 17, but with pushback. So a character like Dragunov Forward Pursuit can punish it, or your typical anti-Paul Death Fist Punisher. Like, for instance, you're playing Lydia, back 3/4, 1+2 would work too. But yeah, same thing. That's almost certainly going to be here. I could see them change to a heat engager, but it probably won't. It'll probably still be just your Death Fist line. Like, for instance, okay, you want to taunt kill, just Death Fist them. Like, shit like that. Okay, slash kicks. No reason to believe slash kick, won't be still good. Nothing to talk about. Still going to have it. Okay, wall stand 1. So this is an interesting move. I assume they're going to leave it as is. So wall stand 1 in Tekken, same thing. It's season 4, I think it was. Wall stand 1 went from I-14 to I-13. So from here, same thing, steel pedal effect. You have execution. Go for Omen God Fist, which again, I'm not on the right stick to do it. Yeah, stuff like that. So almost certainly he's still going to have this on 13, because if you look at his frame data for Heihachi, it's really just Tsunami Kick on 11, Wall Stand 1 on 15, and then on, what do you do on 15? Well, you don't do Wall Stand 2. You don't do anything, so it'd be like Crouch Cancel Electric. You have Execution. Instead, he has Wall Stand 3 on 18, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, almost certainly he's still going to have Wall Stand 1. Same thing, I don't believe they're going to make it Heat Engager. They could, I suppose, if they want to do like the Lydia route with Full Crush Jump 2, but almost certainly it's not going to be. It's just going to be same thing. Ass Stun, Omen, God Fist afterwards, so on and so forth. Wall Stand 2, just like Reina, is just a really evasive wall stand attack. Typically what you could do, anything that puts you into FC, turn Steel Wall Stand 2 out, because during this attack he's essentially side swaying, so it's hard to kind of track him down. Now, I don't remember if Reina's Wall Stand 2 is a counter launcher. I don't think it is. But I can see, same thing, because of the lack of resolution on his Wall Stand punishment, I could see Wall Stand 2 still being a counter launcher for Heihachi. Yeah, it's either that or do something crazy like make this 15 and Heat Engager. I guess they could also do that, but I can't see that being the case. Almost certainly they're going to leave this as is. So instead, Holy Demon Cross, what a name. Instead, for big stagger lows, if you don't have the execution for like CC Electric, it would be something like Wall Stand 3, 1+2. Wall Stand 3, 1+2, same thing, added Season 4 of Tekken 7, is a nice addition to his toolkit. So, because if you look at everything, same thing, you don't have execution for like CC Electric, or if you don't have the time to do like 4-4-2 crouch cancel, because like you're burning clock doing 4-4-2 off of it, you have access to the I-18 Wall Stand 3, 1+2. From there, it's a typical crumple state. Down for 1-1 does work. You can go for the Wall Stand 4 structures that I typically like going for. Or Hell Sweep neutral line, back 1-2, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. The big issue with Wall Stand 1, this move, it's -14 on block. If you look at actually quite a lot of like Heihachi's moves, a lot of them are -14 on block. So whereas he has like this really weird, like interesting dead zones where like, you know, everything is like safe on block or small negative only. You know, the back 1-2s, back 2, forward 3, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this one is one of those -14s that you really have to know when you face against Heihachi. Kind of similar to Tsunami Kick neutral 4-4 off of Hell Sweep, same thing. You have to know these -14s when you're facing against Heihachi. So almost certainly he's still going to have this. Almost certainly it's still going to be Crumple Stun. Almost certainly it's still going to be -14 on block. Okay, everyone's favorite Tsunami Kick, as we talked about. The difference here with Tsunami Kick is that he's +0 on, or +0 technically, on hit. So, oh hey, you want to fucking take your turn back? Oh, I'm sorry, you think the rules are don't apply to you? Right? Die. Right, every time. Almost certainly still going to be -15. Now, Devil Jin's Tsunami Kick was buffed in Tekken 8. Is it +4 or +5 now? Rather than being -4 or -5, which is a huge buff. Yeah, I don't see them changing this from +0. Because of the fact that, you know, the threat of the 1-1-2 is always there on I-10. It's part of his, like, his metagame is sort of shit like that, so. Okay. Crouch and Dragon Kick, that's pretty funny. Yeah, this is here, we talked about that. Be careful, 4-2, because it will be causing Tornado Spin. Almost certainly will reset you if you get off the ground incorrectly, so careful about that. Sidestep 2-1, the Kidney Crunch. That's such a cool name. So this, like I said, -14. It's also NC on hit. I don't know if they'll retain the Crumple Stun part of it. My inclination is, yeah, they probably will. But just keep that in mind. The other thing of note, if I remember correctly... Okay, no, you can't confirm it. I thought you could confirm this one. But no, you cannot confirm it. So, yeah, okay. It's nice because it is kind of evasive. Yeah, there are traps like forward 3, stuff like that, where you kind of turn steel back with sidestep 2. And then again, if your opponent doesn't have an option like -14, right, just let it rock. Who gives a shit? What are they going to do? Punish you? They can't punish you. 10 frame me? Who cares? Okay, Augur. I really hope they keep Augur. Augur is just a taunt. He just flexes and he electrics. Because this move is so old. It's been around like forever. And I'm so glad he has it. It's the coolest fucking thing on the planet. It's so great because people don't realize you're like taunting on them unless they play Heihachi. Whereas other character might do like a little, I beat you. Motherfucker, Heihachi just flexes on you. Like, what the fuck? So cool. So awesome. I hope they don't get rid of that. Okay. This will probably be a ground break. Almost certainly. Oh, you know what they might bring back? You know, come to think of it, they might bring back the butt slap. So in old games, he would put you over his knee and like spank your bottom. I wouldn't doubt if they bring it back. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Atomic drop, interesting. I forgot what that looked like. Okay, so he has almost certainly they're getting rid of like. Okay, he doesn't have it yet. He doesn't have it. Okay, hopefully they don't bring back Headbutt Carnival. So Headbutt Carnival was this move, but only against male characters. And what could happen is they could reverse your throw, and then basically you get stuck in like this infinite where you're damaging each other. The issue with Headbutt Carnival was A, it wall splatted, and B, if you had more health than your opponent, it was a win scenario. You just won. Like, the game's over. Kind of silly. More of a taunt thing. Only worked against male characters. And almost certainly like Kazuya, he can still perform Stonehead as 4 for 1+2 in Tekken 8. Just if you want to do the up forward 1+2 shortcut, he probably still, or has that. Broken Toy, almost certainly not going anywhere. Broken Toy, same thing, is more of a taunt throw. The benefit of an option like Broken Toy is that he chucks you to the side, so it does cause a wall splat, but it doesn't cause like, it'll cause like a wall break, but not like a clean splat. The issue with Broken Toy is that it's slower, like 15 frames, and also I think the window for breaking it is larger too. So of his throws that are all like 12, you know, generically 12 frame data, like this one is very obvious, and like notice his arm comes from the ground. Like from really low, it's like, oh, you're gonna grab me a Broken Toy. It looks cool, but it's not super practical. But yeah, who knows? Maybe under the effects of heat mode, it's gonna be enhanced. I don't know, maybe something like that. And then of course he has reversal. So in this game, he does reversal. You know, can interrupt them with certain attacks. Actually, come to think of it, not a lot of attacks. So what we'll do? So it's a reversal that basically works on like every single option in the game, and then the animations themselves defer depending on what you do. So I don't know if I'll be able to repeat this with Brian, but like for instance, an elbow would typically win against a reversal, but against Heihachi it doesn't. So this kind of acts very similar again to how Reina's works in Tekken 8. So despite that, the fact that you go for something that would normally win, she still beats you. Of course, the difference here, yeah, he does take damage. So same thing. Okay, maybe in T8 he won't take damage. Hopefully he does, because it's kind of part of the benefit, or the kind of cool part of this game. But afterwards, yeah, as you see there, he's left in key charge. So if you don't successfully escape, like if you mistime it, you get launched. If your opponent does like a launcher. So yeah, when he does it, he properly stays in key charge. Almost certainly that's still going to be the case in Tekken 8. Although maybe, same thing, under the effects of heat mode, this will be enhanced. So maybe you don't naturally key charge, or maybe you don't take damage when you perform it, or maybe it's recoverable gauge, you know, so on and so forth, kind of similar to like a Zafina and whatnot there. Okay, that basically covers his move list. Let's talk speculation. So as talked about, he only has one primary stance, which is Raijin Stance. I can see them buffing Raijin Stance to act more similar to his daughter, Reina, where it's an enhanced version of it. And to recap, I believe that 1+2 will be Heat Engager, causing a flop state on cancel. Back 1-2 will be Heat Engager, causing a launcher on Heat Dash Cancel. Back 2 will also be Heat Dash Cancel launcher. And then finally, down forward 1-2 Twin Piston will be Heat Dash Cancelable for a flop knockdown. I was talking to chat about this video, and someone had mentioned, what if, just like Zafina or something like that, what if Heihachi can actually channel his grandfather, or sorry, his father, Jinpachi? Jinpachi, under lore, was a really nice person. He was a great human being. And then, unfortunately, his son was a piece of shit who killed him. And then under the runes of Haomaru, I think it was, he then got possessed by a demon. So what if, now that Heihachi has died again, what if that same demon has possessed Heihachi? So I'll say it right away. I don't love it because, again, you know, same thing, just like the other Mishimas. Okay, well, that means under his heat mode, electric will always come out. So even if you do like a really shitty input, you're still going to get electric because it's heat mode enhanced. And if you do a normal electric and without under heat, it doesn't cost you meter, right? So of course he's going to have that. But yeah, what if he does gain access to certain things that that Jinpachi has? Maybe he has Jinpachi charge stance, and I'll go ahead and throw footage up here. Maybe he'll have bear hug, because same thing. Kazuya has a bear hug. Maybe he'll get a bear hug too. Maybe there will be just general bleed over of moves between them. Like I talked about, there's like a lot of similarities to a character like Lydia, and of course Reina, who's based on Heihachi. But maybe there is more bleed over than we actually can like properly think about. So yeah, I could see that being a thing. I hope it's not the thing, but at the same time, Jinpachi is a pretty cool character, all things considered. So I wouldn't hate it. But it's, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, looking at the footage of the preview footage we've seen, it looks like the monks are going to play a part of it. Will he be a demon in a shadow clone form where he can teleport like a boss character? Hopefully not. But maybe under that effect, maybe he can perform like substitution jutsu, kind of similar to Raven or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs, but at the bare minimum, I believe Battle 1 Back 2 will not be here. And of course, that might be my undoing by saying that. Maybe, hopefully it's gone because it was so oppressive. Stuff like that. So, comments, questions, concerns, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Feel free to let me know if you think I'm an idiot or wrong, or if you think I'm correct or on the right track. I'm always down to talk. Again, the trailer will come out on September 24th. So I will see you guys then. I will hopefully live stream it. And then beyond that, I think that's about it. Probably next video I'll work on will be the Dragunov video. So I don't know when the Dragunov video will come out, but hopefully soon-ish. Okay, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.